Hello everyone, and welcome to part 1 of my special effects final. Today we'll be looking at a quick set of scenes from a project I have in the works called Amaro. The way this is going to work is I'm going to play it through once, and then I will come back and play through it again, and then I will explain the special effects and what I did and such. Just to give some context to the scene, the spaceman, will be very evident who the spaceman is. He is not from these parts, and the Jedi, who it will also be very evident who that is. He is from those parts, so they speak two different languages. So this is kind of like them trying to figure out how to communicate with each other, but being hostile towards each other. It'll make sense when the whole thing comes out. But yeah, here we go. And that's it. So starting at the very beginning here, there's going to be two real main things I bring up repeatedly, and the first one's going to be obviously the lightsaber, because that's in a lot of scenes. But that second one, hopefully if I did my job right, you wouldn't have noticed it in the first place, and that's it's like a visor blur, because the helmet that we used on the spaceman, it was very reflective. And the first instance of that is actually right here. I guess I kind of missed Nate there on the left, but it's you can clearly see the blur to hide the camera from the visor, and that's in pretty much every single spaceman scene because we filmed like close up like that. So that's just that's just a simple adjustment layer, and then the camera blur effect on the adjustment layer, and then I just track matted. I just tracked the matte, or tracked the mask through it to, you know, cover it up, whatever. And then eventually the mask fades out, and then because you can't see anything, but I still kind of missed it there a little bit, but don't tell anyone. So this is Brian, by the way. I will be referred to these people as their real names and not their character names. So this is Brian, and the spaceman is Eric, just for future reference. Again, we have a visor blur here, kind of less noticeable, but to the right of the gloves in the visor, right about here, visor blur. So then this one's more evident right here. This is actually probably the best one I did, because it's very unnoticeable. It just looks like a big smudge on the helmet. The scene, Eric is about to shoot, and then Brian takes the step, and then he does shoot. So we'll pull back. Oh, I missed it. But again, the visor blur, and then right here on this little animation, the gun kind of cocks back, and there's a little bit of a muzzle flare, and then as it goes, the muzzle flare gets bigger as the gun shoots the bolt, and then there is like this red grain over the spaceman. That's kind of just like I guess like feedback from the energy being displaced out of the gun. It's just a filter I threw on top of like a quick mask I threw on top of the spaceman figure here. And then the muzzle flares are just simple simple shapes that are just feathered and opacityed. And then we get dun dun, the first reveal of the lightsaber here. So the lightsaber was actually a mask. It's a white shape made with a mask, and then I just repeated it 5 times. So I made the mask, tracked it to the white. This lightsaber without the effect is like it's just a white rod. So I made a mask of a white shape that is on this, and then I duplicated it once I got it all tracked out. I duplicated it 4 more times, so then there's 5 of them sitting on top of each other. And then what I did from there was make each one have a different feather, so it looks like it has the glow. And then I pre-composed all 5 of them onto a black background, brought the whole pre-composition into the scene, screened it out to get rid of the black background and to make it more on the thing, you know, on the screen. And then I brought in the curves effect, and then I just curved it to this color. And the curves effect has a thing where you can save the preset color, so then I just saved the preset color. But because of the white rod we used to this thing that's underneath the track mat, it was too low contrast compared to the sky in a lot of the scenes. I couldn't use the After Effects automatic motion tracker, so I had to motion track every single lightsaber scene myself manually, and it was rough. Again, we have a little bit of visor blur right here, and then Eric's gonna kind of wonder what the heck's going on with the gun. And then I did a little bit of an animation here on the gun where it like heats up. Where is it? Right there. So there's a little bit like of a heat up animation, and then this is just a circle. These are just shapes with, again, opacity and feather. And then the bolt kind of grows right there, and then it gets bigger. And then again, I just added the red flash to give a little bit of a feedback. And then he shoots it off. And then this rifle bolt. This is something holy moly. So this is just the same process as the lightsaber, just smaller. And this is just a shadow. I just duplicated it and then made it a shadow through, you know, colors and stuff like that. And then this was like the hardest thing. This is one of the hardest things to do in the entire process because of the way the camera turns. I couldn't really get it right. So as you can see, the bolt gets bigger and then smaller because theoretically it's traveling left to right to front to back. The way the camera turns, this was really hard. I had to like draw this out and like it was tough. But then it goes basically into a circle and it kind of stops, but that just shows like the depth because it's heading more towards Brian at this point instead of going left, like I said, left and right, front and back, you know. So then he deflects it. I love this too, the giant lightsaber sort of thing. This was a design choice to really show like the fluidity of the lightsaber, and to really show like I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. So he deflects it and then it kind of flies back towards where it came from. And then this one, we shot this really well actually. I didn't really move this. I think it started off screen here, and then I put the next point right at the gun, and the camera kind of did the rest of the movement for me. So this is like one of our best shots because of the way we pre-planned it. And then this effect right here is a Roman candle effect I found online with, again, a black background that I just screened out. So then it hits the gun and then kind of like sparks this effect. And then this is actually one of our practical effects. What happens as the Roman candle here continues with the sparks, right behind, so we have a wire attached to the handle of the gun right here that kind of fed behind Eric and then pulls back, and then there's a guy, Nate, who we saw in the visor earlier. He's pulling it from the back. I'm filming this, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but he's pulling it with the wire. And sadly, I couldn't get the wire removal effect in After Effects to really do the job, so there's kind of a little bit of residue back behind here if you watch it closely, which I guess I can point out. So at this point the gun is pulled, the wire's pretty much attached right here, and then it just gets pulled, and then some of it's just a little bit, yeah, like right there, but I mean it's weird, it's hard to do. So this is the force push. What I did was I made just a circle, and then I added a liquefy effect to it, and then the circle kind of travels. I don't know, it's really hard to see, but it'll first hit him right here in the arm, and then it'll travel like into his chest. So this circle is just movement with the blur, with the liquefy effect, and then he kind of hits him like a little, like a force push effect. I apologize for that sound, but this is like a little force push effect, and then Eric flies back. I didn't realize that it reveals. I just noticed that. I'll have to go back and fix that. This is a rare footage. You'll never see this again. And then so Eric flies back manually. That was just him acting, and then Brian comes up again. The saber is just out of control, but I love it. So whatever. This is a great shot. Right here is the same Roman candle effect from earlier, from when the bolt hit the gun. I just reused it to add the sparks to this. This is one of my favorite shots in the entire thing, actually, because I love this dynamic. And then you can see I actually made another lightsaber here that's kind of like fatter, and then just like added opacity. I made it get bigger, and then added opacity. It starts at 0 and goes on to like up to like 15. With like the reflection in the visor there, it's a really cool effect. I really like this shot in general. And then there's a huge camera blur here, but this is like the most smudgiest of smudges that I made for the camera blur. This is a kind of egregious, but it's there. And this is actually 2 separate lightsabers. I didn't realize I should have masked the mask in the first place. You will see later on, I'll point out later on that I did mask the mask, but in this one I thought it'd just be better to do 2 separate sabers. Not sure why, but it works, I guess. It's kind of a little wonky, but it works for what it is. But you shot first. I've heard this dialogue so many times. The lightsaber effect right there, quickly. Then it flies up again with the motion. I love the motion of the saber that I do here. I rewinded too far there, I apologize. Like the motion, it like flies like, you know, it's just cool. I like it like that. Yeah, the little saber here. This was actually the last thing I did, because I didn't see this the first time I did it. Like I said earlier, the white stick on the lightsaber was so hard to like see from the background of the sky. This was the last thing I did because I didn't catch it until the very end. This one is like a normal one, but I added a little bit of the camera blur effect I used on the visor just to give it like that out of focus feel. So this is the shot where I masked the mask here. So Brian will walk, and then Eric's hand will like come in front of the saber, and for some reason it creates a weird feedback where the subtract mask that is like over the lightsaber that's supposed to get rid of it for when Eric's hand goes in front of it, it left like a weird line, and I'm not sure why it did that. Where is it? So then the subtract mask comes in like right about here, right there, and then it's leaving like a residue of the subtract across right there. I'm not sure why it did that. I don't really know what happened there, because the mask is set to subtract, so it should completely subtract this entire thing. But it just keeps going. It's not really too noticeable, but I just don't understand why it did it in the first place. And then I think that's the last saber effect, and then Brian sheaths the saber, and we're good to go. So yeah, hopefully I hit everything there. If not, let me know and I'll answer any questions. But thanks for watching.